Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I am Nicodemus Kane. Today is September the 7th of 2022. We're closing in on some big dates or some big stuff coming up. You know how it is. They love their numerology, and we have 9/11 right around the corner. We have 9/23 right around the corner. We have 9/16. I keep getting a 9/16 for some reason. Keeps popping up into my sphere of understanding, I guess you can call it. So 9/16. So keep that one in mind too. But they love their numerology. This isn't something that I'm making up just to scare people. These are actual numbers that we see everywhere pop up over and over again, that the people that are in charge, put out there in front of us so that we have a chance to know. They don't have to tell us exactly what they're doing, but they have to tell us what they're doing. I was talking this over with somebody else a while back. Not only does it rid them of the guilt of doing something to you by telling you what they're going to do, but I also still think that there is some kind of a esoteric, there has to be some kind of a truth that has to be put out. God made it to where they have to tell the truth. They have to show what they've done so that we have a chance to know. Even though we may not understand it, evil has to tell the truth in some way, shape, or form. And I have said before that right up until movies came out, right up until movies were a thing, the word conspiracy was capitalized. Like it was the big C conspiracy. For whatever reason, you look up the word usage in Google. For whatever reason, the word conspiracy, capital C, was really big right up until the time when movies started coming out. And then suddenly, magically, it was little c conspiracy, and big C conspiracy kind of went away. I don't know why, but I have my own theories as to what that was all about. I have a feeling that people used to talk about these things more in books, in print. And that was kind of the way that they put out their soft disclosures. That's another story for another time. Interesting stuff though to look that up. The whole big C conspiracy thing. I still don't understand it. But today we were going to look at the day one photos for our trip out to the Angel Mounds. Day one was the Angel Mounds, and it was just driving to get out to where we were staying. So this was the Angel Mounds out in Evansville. I have a movie that I'm still downloading. I know. I got on here and I was looking. I was like, surely I'm missing something. And sure enough, it was like a 6 minutes video that I recorded while I was up on top of this mound, and it did not. For whatever reason, it didn't upload. So we're still waiting on this. I'm hoping that it'll upload. It's taking its sweet time. I don't know why it didn't upload yesterday, but whatever. Anyways, everything else is in here. Let me pull it up. All right, and then I will pull you guys in so we can at least look at the stuff that I have first, and hopefully this thing will be uploaded by the time we need it. So all my day one stuff. Let me go ahead and open this stuff up. And I am not the best photographer in the world. I will admit that 100%. I did not take very good pictures. I took pictures of what I thought was worthwhile taking. And I'm sure that if anybody's watching this on a phone, it's probably going to be extremely small. So I'm going to try to zoom in on some of these things. There's a lot of stuff that you can actually do with the photo app, I found out. you can zoom in on a lot of this stuff and be able to move around. It's really nice. I can't complain too much. But I took pictures of what I thought was important. Now, Angie has other pictures too. My wife has other pictures. She took a lot of stuff, but I haven't seen those yet. She's supposed to send those to me, but she hasn't yet. So I might do like a follow-up video, maybe on Monday or something. I don't know. Maybe Friday night if I get into it. If she sends it to me before the weekend, then I will definitely be able to make another video. But this was the sign that we saw that was out there. This is the Angel Mounds side of a palisaded middle Mississippi Indian village occupied circa 1500 AD. Now I want you guys to keep these dates in mind because you will hear these dates jump around so many times. We have heard every date from 700 AD all the way up to, well, this is probably the latest I heard was 1500 AD. I think there's one that was maybe a little bit later than that. But you will hear these dates jump everywhere. And it's some of the more advanced places that we went to seem to have died off first, and some of the non-advanced ones seems to have lasted longer. I don't know. It's rather interesting that they kind of made this arbitrary, oh, it was anywhere between, 700 AD and 1500 AD. It's somewhere in between. We don't know. But I've already said it just sounds ridiculous for them to spend 300 years to make these mounds that, just so one guy can occupy them. I say that multiple times in here. You'll hear it a million times. This 450-acre site includes 11 man-made mounds. There were probably more than that. Town plaza and village area for a population of about 1,000. Excavated by the Indiana Historical Society in 1939 and 1965. These are more just arbitrary numbers. There's only 1,000 people living here. There's only 1,000 people living here, so they decided to break their backs, making this mound. 50-pound bags of dirt over 200 years. You just don't know. We don't know how big it actually was. This is just what they say. When you see the maps of these places, you kind of understand that the way that they describe it to you, you kind of understand, oh, it was just this localized little area, and all these people just lived in here, and for some reason these 1,000 people just decided to one day up and build this huge monument to their leader. Okay, it's again weird stuff. So the next one, this is Angel Site was a large prehistoric town that flourished between 1000 and 1450 AD. CE is current era, that's what they say, but AD, that's what I'm going to say. So this is supposedly their rendition of what it looked like, even though when you get in there and you look at it, you look at other different maps, it looks different than this. This is what they say it looks like, but it looks different. Let me see if I can find the right here. This is the actual site. This is the website for this place. This is the mound right here. When you see it from the top here, it looks completely different than what they tell you. Than this. I mean, it's just not the same. It's different. It's weird. So everything in here you have to take a grain of salt from. Take a grain of salt with. Because none of this looks right according to what they say. It's very strange. But anyways, with towering earthworks, a broad plaza, and well-built homes, Angel was an important regional center for people living along the lower Ohio. At its peak, around 1,000 people lived and worked here. Hundreds more probably came in from outlying communities for festivals or special events. And of course, when the Europeans arrived, it was already abandoned. Archaeologists later noticed that the earthworks and plaza look like other sites in the Mississippi River Valley. Yes, they do. people at Angel probably shared a similar culture with those other sites, now called Mississippian. Oh, they shared the same culture, and there was a lot of people that came in from other places, but for whatever reason, they had to build this big-ass wall to protect them from something. What were they protecting themselves from? I don't know. So the interpretive center, I love that word. We joked on that word. It's interpretive. It's how they interpreted it. But the interpretive center said that it might have been rival communities, people that were wanting to get what they had, that were pushing to try to get into where they were. And I kept saying, okay, wait a minute. In order for you to be so scared of a rival community, in order to build this big of a wall for the way that they did it, you would have had to have at least known that the community that was trying to come to you had as many men as you did, fighting men that you did. So what was the other community? Because supposedly all these Mississippians, they all had the same culture. They all worship the same thing. You see the same symbology over and over and over and over and over again. They all had the same building techniques. So if they were all kind of the same, why were they worried about each other? And where are the remnants of these other people that had enough? Did it go through? I hope it went through. That they had enough skill and enough men and enough to be able to come and fight these people, so that they, enough that they could have built this wall. There's a disconnect there that just kind of doesn't make sense to me. So I have to ask these questions. What is the deal with this? All right, so we got this. Give me 1 second here. Let me pull this. I just want to make sure that this is the full video. Okay, all right. Let me copy this over to my desktop, because I got like 3 folders I got going here. I just want to make sure that everything is on my desktop and working. I don't want to have to rely on Google Drive in order for things to work. Oh, come on. It's going to take its sweet ass time. Really? You can take that long to download? 355 kilobits a second. 0 bytes. Oh, that's nice. Oh, there we go. It's amazing sometimes. It's absolutely amazing sometimes how technology just sucks. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, there we go. So pull that, go back into it. All right, now we can continue. Again, I love you guys, and I want you guys to see everything, but you don't need to see my desktop. Nobody needs to see that stuff. Let me make sure we're still doing good. All right, we're still doing good. So that was this. So again, I have questions. I have serious questions that they did not answer because they don't know everything. They know some of it, apparently, and a lot of it they just kind of make up, and but they don't have all the answers. Whenever you go through this interpretive center and you try to read through everything, you can definitely tell, we don't have all the answers. We're just kind of interpreting what we think happened. Because you have to remember that these people were gone before the people we know as Native Americans came in and settled. These sites were abandoned way before these other people came in. So, of course, this is just another one. This is where they were excavating, 2.5 million artifacts, even though we only saw about, 100, maybe a little bit more than that. So where's the rest of all these artifacts? Then there's another one. Indian University students come in. They, a whole lot more stuff. They come in every now and then and dig some stuff up, check it out, and see. So here we are inside the interpretive center. I didn't take very many pictures of the words because, it's just a lot of stuff. But I took pictures of some of the things that I thought were interesting. Some of the biggest ones were the chunky stones. I think are interesting the way that they made these. There is something to the way these things are hollowed out. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something very strange to me. I got a close up of this guy right here, the bird in the middle. We're going to talk about him. I got a close up of this pottery down here too. They had a lot of pipes. They were smoking a lot. They said that they found hundreds of these little tiny pipes all over the place. But then, of course, you've got the tools. And the one thing I was wanting to get to was the interpretive center in Cahokia that has the digging tools that are bigger than one hand. There's another place in here where you can see the digging tools. They fit in one hand, so you use them in one hand to be able to dig. But these tools at Cahokia were two-handed, and it didn't make any sense to have two-handed tools like that, especially if you were using them to strip the skin off of an animal, to clean the insides of a skin, or to if you were chopping down, let's say, plants, vegetables. It didn't make sense to have a two-handed tool like that. And I was saying, because somebody else had made the video too, it seemed more like whoever was holding this thing had a really big hand. So I wanted to see some of these tools, but of course this place didn't have any of these. This just has, the small ones like this. I thought this rock up here was weird. Looks like a frog to me, but they didn't say it was a frog or not. They just said that it was something that they found, and I don't know. I thought it was weird. So this little boy right here, this little guy, that's one of our little gods. That's our little eagle. That's our little eagle dude. He's got the legs, he's got the wings. I'm not saying it's a god. I'm sure that it was probably some kind of a depiction of some kind of bird, but you see this a lot. These little things like this, the eagles, the snakes. You see snakes everywhere. You see spirals everywhere. It's the same imagery over and over and over again. Like same as this on the side of the pottery. Here's your snake, little coiled snake on the side. You can't see it very well because I took a bad picture of it, but it's the same imagery constantly. Snakes and eagles all over the place. See, like this right here. These are the digging tools. This is a one-hand digging tool. And you can kind of see how if you put your hand over the top of it, you're just kind of using it one hand. The ones in Cahokia, though, were like twice the size as that. You'd have to use two hands. And it didn't make very much sense to use that kind of tool with both hands. So it would have been made for somebody with a really big hand. But again, the interpretive center in Cahokia was shut down for remodeling. This place actually, the woman in the front desk said that this place was getting shut down in October for remodeling. So things were changing, things were missing. They were pulling stuff out of the you'll see it. Some of these in here, they were pulling stuff out of the displays, so we didn't get to see everything. I don't know why they're changing stuff up, but they're remodeling. It is what it is. So this one doesn't have any of the stuff on it. There's all the pottery that we saw. Just about everything had spirals on it. So again, of course, everything dates 1000 to 1450. Granted that the way that archaeologists date things is by what is in the layer. and they get the date of the layer by the stuff that they find in the layer. So of course it's it's circular reasoning is what it is. Again, just more stuff. How they interpret it. It's all interpretive. It's all they can do is they find it, kind of put it together and say, well, this was like this is like that. Now I get it. I get the way that, they do it like that. But again, it may not be exactly the way that was. You never know. Here is an example. This is a little kids thing that you could do. But here's an example of stuff that's missing. Here is a chert hoe missing. Here's a shell hoe. These are tools. They had mortar and pestle, which I thought was interesting. But then here's a stone celts. It's an axe or a chisel, and it's missing. Why were these two missing? That's just weird. But again, that was the stuff that I wanted to see in Cahokia, but I can't, because they're remodeling. This place is remodeling, and sure enough, some of the stuff's missing. What's this all about, man? I'm not saying that there's some kind of grand conspiracy that's trying to keep me from seeing the stuff I want to see. I just thought it was interesting that the stuff that I did want to see isn't here. It's interesting stuff. So here's a map of what they found. Again, I think there was probably more than this, but this is just what they have. This is the big mound. This one over here on the bottom left hand, this was the temple mound, I think. Yeah, that was the temple mound. I don't have my my map with me. It's downstairs somewhere. That was the temple mound. The other mounds were just, ceremonial things. But this would have been what they said was where they went and worshipped. Worshipped who? I have no idea. But the big one, of course, they said was where the chief would have been. And again, if you look at this, you could see where the rise is right here. There's a lower rise right here in the middle, and then the big flat area. I might as well go ahead and say it now that when you look at it like this, it looks like a sphinx. It doesn't look like a mound that you walk up on and you live on. This kind of looks like a sphinx, where the legs are at the bottom, they're the low end, and this is the back. And then you had the head right here. Now, of course, this head is cocked to one side, but we have seen sphinxes where either the head is cocked to one side or there's a second head on the other side. I don't know. Maybe this whole thing used to be dirt, because they say as soon as you dig a mound that it's gone. It's dead. Maybe there was a mound here. I don't know. Now, of course, they say, they've got up here on the mound and they dug into it and they found stuff, and okay, fine. I will agree with that. But when you look at that, it looks like a sphinx. I'm not saying that's what it is. I even say it in a video, though, when we're taking videos of it. I said, man, it just, from this angle, you can see it. You can't see it so much whenever we went to Cahokia, because Cahokia was huge. But when you saw this one, it was like, you could very easily put a head on that, and it would be a sphinx. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not saying that at all. I just find it interesting. It's one of those interesting little things. I still have to wonder about the fence. Of course, now the fence line, the whole fence line up here is trees. This whole area up here around the fence line is trees. You couldn't see the original fence line if you tried. They have a place where they kind of replicated the fences, but it's all covered in trees. So you can't really tell just how big this place is. But again, it was 16 feet tall, 12, 16 feet tall. This fence, huge fence. Why would you make such a huge fence unless you're defending from a rival people? And if these people that were, if they were just a roaming band of barbarians, maybe, let's say 20 men, if you had 1,000 people, that's at least 500 men. So why are you worried about having a stone wall, or not a stone wall, just a wall, period? 12-foot, 16-foot wall for 25, 50 barbarians. You get it? You understand what's going on here? It's weird. It's just weird. Again, they don't talk about they didn't talk very much about who was fighting them or why they put it up here. They just said they just put it up there. I don't know. I'm sure somebody has an explanation for it, and they can say, well, it's because this is this and this is that, and I'm like, okay, but still, what does it all mean? What's going on here? So here's a map. Here's a map of what's going on. Mound A, of course, that's the big one. Mound B, which is this one off to the side. Mound C, this is 3, which is this one. So the little ones, stuff like that didn't matter very much. Mound D, but it was the one, Mound E, where's 5, is the one up there. See, they don't know what these were, and they can't dig into them, because as soon as you dig into them, they're gone. They're dead. I thought this was interesting, though. We both had a good laugh about this. Mound F, the Temple Mound, which is the one way out here. We didn't go all the way out to the Temple Mound, but I took a lot of pictures of it from where we were. I laughed about it. The 13 feet high, 239 feet long by 235 wide. I said 239 feet. What are the odds that we're going to see the same numbers over and over again here with all this stuff? Completely absurd. Of course, you got the 42 feet tall. Mound A is 42 feet tall at its highest point. It's like, what are the odds that we're going to see the same numbers over and over and over again in here? But you can kind of read this for yourself. They said that the chief's house stood at the very top of this, and that these supposedly were the stairs. Now, we never saw any stairs. Whenever we said it might have been they were wood and they rotted away, or they were, maybe part of the dirt and they went away, or maybe they were rocks and they just washed away. We don't know, but we never saw stairs. We had to walk up the side of this. At Cahokia, they put in stairs so that you could walk up the top of it. But I said, what chief is going to want to live on the top of this thing where he has to walk up and down it at least once a day? It just seemed crazy, especially when you go to Cahokia, man. That thing is like, 4 or 5 stories. Why wouldn't you think that I get the whole thing of, putting yourself on top above everybody else, but man, it just seemed, I don't know, it just seemed a little crazy to me. I do find it interesting though that they said that the fence went this way. Because the fence went all the way around, but they said the fence came this way too. Did they lose ground here? What's that? It's interesting stuff. So here's the plaza, though. That's where they play the chunky, and they said they had the gambling and everything. They call this 3 Mile Island because right over the little river thing that they had here, which again, this was full of trees. You could not see anything back here. But they had a little river that went through here, and on the other side, they say it's possible there could have been more back there, but they didn't find anything. I'm saying it's possible that there could have been more, period. We don't know. We know that they blockaded this part off. They didn't blockade this part off. So what's back here? But it is what it is. So This is the same one. Again, most of the Mississippian Indians that you see, or Mississippian Native Americans that you see, they have the same kind of setup. You'll see this in several other the pictures that we took in the maps of the other places that we went to. Can't really tell what these are aligned to very well. They're not really aligned at all. I think I even did cardinal directions of this. I think this was not aligned to true north. I don't remember exactly how it worked. Here's a really bad picture of the of like a three-dimensional map of what they thought it could be. It's a really crappy picture. I am sorry, guys. I think this one's worse. This is good stuff. This is the best picture I could give you right here. It's blurry, nasty. This is me taking a picture of the mound, and again, supposedly this is the hut where the chief lived. On the top, you can kind of see it's very, very bad. And for whatever reason, they had this kind of mound on the side here. I don't know. Just to have a mound. Maybe just for him to walk up and just be like king of the mountain. Who knows? But again, it's another one of those. When you look at it, you can just kind of see it looks like a sphinx. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Who knows? All right, Moundy, of course, again, I had to take a picture of it. 13 feet high, 239 feet long, and 235 feet wide. I bet you any amount of money this used to be a perfect square. But again, though, because there are two levels to this, this counts as a pyramid. This counts as a pyramid mound. There are 2 levels to it. Actually, there are 3 levels to it if you count the little bump there. So 1, 2, 3. This counts as a earthenworks pyramid. That's what they call them mounds, and they say mounds all the time. But you're like, no, it's a pyramid because it's steps. It's a step pyramid. That's why whenever people say, oh, there's a pyramid in Illinois, because when you're out there at Cahokia, they don't call it a pyramid. They will call it a mound. It's always a mound. But it's like, this mound has a base that's as big as the Pyramid of Giza. It's a pyramid. It's an earthenworks pyramid because it has steps. So, you know, they will call it one thing. We can call it another thing. It is what it is. This is just more stuff. It's figurines. It's just talking about the thing. This is what they supposedly found on this is map F. I even said something. It's interesting that it's map F, which is the 6th letter of the alphabet. It's 6. 1.3. The Temple Mound. You can read that all for yourself. Again, we didn't go out to the Temple Mound. I wasn't really that interested in it. You see a lot of these depictions, these little guys sitting there in a thing. I don't know if I got a better picture of that or not. Yeah, I did, right there. Always with the spirals. Snake skin, spirals, always with the spirals. This little thing right here looks like a snake head. You can see the tail is wrapped. Always with the snakes. There's another one. Another picture of that. There's little faces on the side of these, and it took me a second to realize that these are snake heads. I don't think I got a good picture of that one. There's another one though that you can see that even though it's worn away, you can see it's a little snake that pops out of the side of it. So the Mississippian settlements, Moundville is on our list now. Believe me, I heard that this one down here was really big. I wonder if that's a depiction of that. Moundville in Alabama. So, of course, they got Cahokia on here, and that's the Angel Mounds. That's where we were. And then we went to Cahokia, and then we went to all the stuff down, as much of the stuff down in southern Illinois that we could. So, of course, here's another map of just about everything. The Wycliffe Mounds. They actually have this on the map. That's cool. We actually stopped here. We didn't go in there, but we actually stopped there. So that's cool that that's on there. Um, I would love to see all this stuff eventually, as much as we can. But of course, the Mississippi River. This is where they all, supposedly settled up and down the Mississippi River. Both sides, and of course, we've talked about the Mississippi River being similar to the Nile River, where it's got all the tributaries that come into it. It's one big river system that comes out of the bottom, and all these people lived in there. And sure enough, this place, all the cities that run up and down it in the entirety of southern Illinois is called Little Egypt, on a place that is similar to the Nile River, where all of these Mississippians lived that had very similar gods to Egyptian and Assyrian gods. There's something to that. I was talking to the girls in the Wycliffe Mounds, the ones that were sitting there, and I was telling them the whole thing about, why is there a depiction of a dragon on the side of a wall in Illinois that is the exact same depiction of a monster that this Assyrian god fought in, Assyria on the other side of the world. Why are these exactly the same? Why are there two gods, these thunderbirds that, are similar to this Nisroch, which is an Assyrian bird god? Why are these like this? You talking to these girls about it, and of course, they only understand what they've been told, and it wasn't a complete glaze over, but you could just kind of see them just kind of, they weren't really getting it, but at the same time, they're just kind of, you could just kind of see their cognitive dissonance coming up in the back, and their eyes were just kind of like getting to that point. I just kind of was like, all right, I'm going to stop, and we're going to go, because I have a feeling that the more I talk to you two, the less I'm going to make any sense to you. But that's just the way that it is, It's people just hear it over and over and over again, and then they hear something that's completely contrary to what they know, and they glaze over. They don't know how to take it. But that's what we saw, talking to those girls in the Wycliffe Mounds, however you want to say it. Just another picture to make sure I got a good one. So, all right, here we go. So this is north. So that's north. The mound comes off to the northeast. All right, so that gives you a better understanding of how it's set up, of the way everything was pointing. Again, this was supposedly the inner palisade wall and the outer palisade wall. Huh. It's interesting. The more that we see these maps, the more that we see the inner palisade wall just kind of grows and grows and grows. Hold on one second. All right. But these are the trails that they actually mowed into the grounds that you could walk on. They had a thing. They said, don't walk where it's not mowed. You can walk to the top of the mound, but just don't walk where it's not mowed. So they had all these trails mowed in where you could walk around on. Apparently they do a lot of activities and stuff. They'll bring people out here and they'll do stuff, which is interesting. They still use the land. They still have, things that happen. I don't know. It's weird. All right. So here is more spirals. Of course, spirals everywhere. More spirals everywhere. Of course, there's a shell here. Well, see that they were just mimicking the shells. Maybe they were. Who knows? Maybe they were. But you see it constantly all over the place. Now, this thing I thought was interesting. The shape of a cross with a sun circle, although it's found at the site It was not found at this site. Note the similarity in design of the sun symbol of Angel Mounds. Yes, this is another thing that we've seen constantly. It was a sun with this weird cross in the middle of it, and it's never a perfect cross. It's always like a turned cross. Now, make of it what you will. I am not going to put any thoughts into your head. You're going to make of that what you will. It is a sun symbol with this weird bent cross in the middle of it. I have come up with many different things, and every single one of them just leads me on a different path that I don't know if I want to really get into. But it's interesting symbolism. It really is. So here's another one. I don't know why this came out crooked. Can I turn it? There we go. This is the hand. You see a lot of this stuff too. The hand with the eye in the middle of it. Because possibly because they believed that the constellation of Orion wasn't a guy with a bow, that it was a hand. I don't know if I can pull that up. Let's see if I can pull that up here. I should have looked for this before I started doing this, but I wasn't thinking about it, of course. Why would I think about it? Why would I ever try to preempt anything by actually, doing something beforehand so that we could have it? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Why would I ever want to do that? Yeah, there we go. So this might be I can't remember which one's which. Oh, of course, I'd have to take this off too. Pull that down. Maybe not that. No. Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, so that's my display capture. No, my video capture, that's not it. Is that? Oh, God, there we go. How you guys doing? It's been a while since I've seen you. Yes, this is a new room. This is a new room because I had to move out of the basement. It's been a while since I've been up here, though. So here you go, right here. This is in the book. This is the this is what I was talking about with the hand, with the constellation. And I've seen this in other places too. So this is the way that they describe. You can pause that if you can read it. I don't know if you can read it. This is the way that they describe it, as a portal through the hand, through the leap, through the after journey life, or it's after life journey. But it's the portal. It's the same as there was in Cahokia at the very bottom of it. You come up through the hand, and then in the very center of the hand would have been the mound, and you take the rattlesnake to go up through the thing. It took me a second to get all this together, didn't it? So let me put that. No, not that one. Watch me not be able to get this. There we go. It's been a while since I've used this stuff, hasn't it? All right. Yes, I still exist. I'm still a human being. I have a lot more hair than I used to. I just kind of let it grow. It's been a while since I've been on camera. But this is, again, you see the symbolism constantly. The hand with the eye, just like in Egypt. More spirals. Wait, where are we at? Okay, there we go. More spirals. This looks like a snake. It looks like a coiled snake. I don't know if I can see. I don't know if I took a picture of that one too. Let's turn that one. More spirals. It's like a portal. Again, the portal, look at the eyeball in the middle of it. The portal into the afterlife, I guess. There's something going on there that, again, we don't really know. So this one was what got me really thinking. 1,000 people, for whatever reason, decided they're just going to up and build a mound for one dude to live on. And it's going to take them 100+ years to be able to build this thing for this guy just to be up there and just be like, oh, this is me. You know, I'm living up here. I'm doing my thing. 1,000 years for all these people just to go along with it. There's something to it. I don't know what it is, but there's something to it. But this got me thinking. This really made me start thinking. The other thing this got me thinking about was, again, the depiction of you got the, and I showed this to Angie too. I said, look, you've got the headdress, you've got the feathers on the back, you got the fringes. I think it's interesting. It's almost the way this guy's even walking is the same as our boy Nisroch. Do you want to? Let's see if we can Nisroch. God. It's almost the same. It's the headdress, it's the wings, it's the fringes, let me go back here. It's almost the exact same thing as this guy. There is something going on here that we need to have a conversation about. We need to talk about this stuff. You see other stuff like this where he's got all of the swirls on him, and some people have said this looks mechanical. Hey, if it looks mechanical, it looks mechanical. But it's all these little things like this, and again, you come back to this, and sure enough, this guy is tattooed up one side and down the other. Now, I'm not saying this is an accurate representation of anything, but I am going to say that it's the same old stuff. It's the same old stuff. You see it over and over and over again, and it's the same depictions. But this comes from the other side of the world. This didn't come from America. This came from the other side of the world. So what does this mean? What's going on here? This is why I wanted to make this trip, so that we could figure this stuff out. Because it took me a long time to realize this. And then it just kind of snapped into my head. It's like, wait, that's, we've seen this for years and years and years, and we've never once questioned what this is. And of course, we've always gotten the answer, oh, well, it's because they had their own gods and they did their own thing. And, this is something else. This is something else. There's something else going on here. And we just need to talk about this. We need to have the conversation. We truly need to have the conversation. More stuff. These are effigies. Nothing big here, really. Didn't see much. You see these guys with the big ears. Yeah, nothing much going on there. Object removed. As always, this is a chunky stone right here. This is the game that they played again. They would take this, they would roll it down the plaza, and then they would take a stick and they would throw the stick to where they thought the ball would stop, or the stone would stop, and they used to bet on these things. But of course, object removed. Why? What's missing? Why is this one missing? What's going on there? I'm not saying it's a grand conspiracy against me. I'm just saying that, it was a thing. So of course, this tells you what it is. All kinds of different stuff. You can stop it and read it for yourself if you want. the timeline of what they say was happening. The Romans, begin to use concrete, and then nothing happens for like 1,000 years. Absolutely nothing happens, and then suddenly just things start happening. And then of course you've got the Dark Ages, and then this was right around the time when in America apparently they were starting to build all these mounds because nothing happened for all this time. It's tell me that's not interesting stuff. Tell me there's not something missing here. Tell me we're not missing just massive amounts of history, that we are slowly finding out things are nothing like the way that they tell us. So of course this is what they think depictions of people used to be. It looks a little weird to me. Big noses, big ears. When you see these things, you see the big noses and the big ears. But then you see the slanty eyes and you kind of think, well, maybe there's something to that. Who knows? I'm not going to say anything is or isn't what it is. I do find it interesting, though, whenever they make figurines of themselves. They don't bother to sketch any hair on themselves. Even though we are told that they had long flowing hair, they never bother to put any hair on. You make of that what you will. So this I thought was interesting. These two little pictures right here. So these were supposedly pieces of something that they found. And I'm looking at them, and I'm like, those are claws. Those look like claws. This looks like scales of something. And this looks like a wing, perhaps. I don't know. So, let me go back over here. Piasaw bird. I was thinking, maybe, just maybe, that it's some kind of depiction of this. Because it looks, even though it's just the tiniest little bit of this, it looks like those claws. It looks like it could be some kind of depiction of the piasaw. I'm just making speculation. I'm just throwing that out there. Again, you make of it what you will. I just thought it was interesting that it was there, and that they had these two little things right there, and all I could think of was piasaw. But that's just me. Here's something about the Three Sisters of Gardening. We are finally outside of the interpretive center now. They had this little garden going on. The Three Sisters, and all I could think of was the three sisters that hung around the cauldron. Had something to it. I don't know. Just interesting. So here's outside. Here's the official mound from the north looking south. That's the mound. There's another picture of it. Way back here in the back, I don't know if that one was it or not. I think that's the temple mound. I can't really tell for sure. Here's part of this reconstructed wall that they did. This, again, is about 12 feet high. It might have been bigger. I don't know. The one in Cahokia was way bigger than this. So I don't know exactly how high that was. There's another mound way out there. You got to remember, this is the first mound site we had gone to, so I took pictures of everything, like twice. Stockade was an engineering feat. Yeah, 1,000 people. 1,000 people, 500 men, while the women were taking care of the children. Dug about 4 feet deep and 4,500 logs upright. That is, what is that, 700 logs per man? Is that right? Or am I wrong on that? No, that's 900 logs per man. Every man put down 900 logs. Unbelievable. The walls were around 17 feet high. 17 feet. Why would the Chinese build a wall that was 20-something feet high for 6-foot tall Mongolians? That's all I gotta say. Why would these people build a wall that was 17 feet high for 6-foot tall invaders? Man, this is weird stuff. So here's kind of a look around. There was a mound here. Then of course you can see that one. That's Angie. It's my wife. I can't remember what that one was back here. And of course, this is the tree line. This is where the fence was. It's all trees now. That's the interpretive center in the back, as you can see. And this would have been the plaza. They kind of got it marked off a little bit with these ropes here. This is where they would have played the chunky. All right. This is another shot of the plaza. Just a little different. They had these markers out there. We didn't go all the way out there. It was hot. It was so hot, and we didn't walk out to everything. Here is the mound, the big mound. You can see they don't mow on the sides. They just mow on the top. And they keep telling you don't walk up the sides. I don't think you could walk up the sides. It's kind of steep. I mean, it's really pretty big. It's pretty amazing once you get in there and see it. There's another one. These pictures don't do it any justice whatsoever. They really don't. When people say that, they mean it. These pictures don't do this any justice at all. But you have to remember, this is the back of the mound. This is the flat back of the mound. The front of the mound is over here. This is just the top, where supposedly the chief lived. But then down here, there's like a little platform. Again, when you look at it from this angle, or if you look at it from the side, and I have another picture from the side, you can see the back of a sphinx, you can see the sphinx's head, and you can see its feet. I'm not saying that's what it is, I just find it interesting that it's similar. So here's another one. Looking up the mound, I think from the west side. Yeah, the entrance, you got to walk around here up the path to get up to it. But this is just scale. This is giving you an idea. The slope of this thing just goes straight up. And that's the temple mound back there. And then those are the other two mounds. I don't remember exactly what those were. Angie, I love her. This is to prove that she could actually get up on the first hill. This is the first hill. This up here was the second hill. It's kind of steep up this way, but you can get up there. And then that's the big kind of mound over on the top right there. But we were out of breath getting up here. It was kind of big. So let me pause that. Let me go back. Let me see if I can pull this, if this will actually let us listen to it. Because I did record this, and I did record it with sound. I don't know how this is going to sound, because I have not listened to this. So I can't promise anything. I don't hear anything. I don't know if you guys are hearing anything or not. I don't know what I'm doing. No, that's not what I want either. I can totally hear it, but I can't tell if you guys are hearing that or not. Because I don't have the... No, that's the video capture device. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the display, but you see the display, again, they changed this. This is not what it used to be. It's different than it used to be. And let me see that. Let me see if that'll work. See, it's still not there. Again, OBS changed the way that they do this. It's not what it used to be. Monitor off. Let's go ahead and try that then. Monitor off. I don't think I need to use device timestamps. Why would I need to use device timestamps? But I don't see my equalizer there. If I can't see my equalizer there, then I can't tell if you guys are hearing it or not. It's very, very strange. It's very strange. So I don't know. I don't know if you guys could hear any of that or not, or if I should just go ahead and just talk. Because again, I can't tell if you guys can hear it. It's just weird. It's just really, really weird. And I don't know why. I don't know why it's like this. I don't know why they changed it. I don't know why that. I don't need to add any of those. But I need desktop audio. That's what I need. That's just really, really weird. It just makes me wonder if I need to shoot. All right, anyways. We're going to go try this again with the sound off. I'm going to play it. I'm going to figure out what's going on with this. I'm going to play this video back for myself, and if it's not playing back, then I will know that, I will do it. So anyways, this is from the top, and again, I was out of breath climbing up this thing. That was a Temple Mount way back there. But I was saying that these guys spent all of this time building all of this in order for one guy to live up there, for one guy just to walk up and down this thing constantly, which I still think is silly, but it is what it is. Now, again, there is the prospect of, maybe that's the way it was. Maybe that's, he lived up there and he stayed up there and people brought stuff up to him. Okay, that's fine. But why would you still take, 100 years, 200 years, hauling bags of dirt? They said 50-pound bags of dirt, however many times up this thing just to build it for somebody that's not even going to be alive once it's done. Because you gotta figure. They said it took 300 years to build Cahokia. 50-pound bags of dirt, 51 million times to be able to do that, to be able to build it up for somebody's great grandson. It seems like there's more to it. It seems like there's more to what they're telling us. If that is what it is, then, it is what it is. It just sounds peculiar to me. It sounds weird and peculiar to me. But anyways, this overlooks the plaza, which was down there. You can, when you get up to the top of this thing, you could really see. You could see everything. You could see the whole area really well, which is, it was really awesome to get up there and, you know, look down on everything. I don't know how many of those trees were there back in the day, if there were even trees at all. I don't even know. But without the trees there, you could probably see a pretty good distance, you know, without the trees. It's a nice place to go up to and have an area where you could look around and see. Again, the whole thing with somebody living up there, I don't know. I really don't know. And I don't think that it's possible. I mean, you know, it's very well possible. I could buy it to a point, but then there's just something in the back of my head that's just screaming, no. No, that's not. It doesn't make any sense. It's just not. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't fit right. And I don't know. I took a long video here. I wish I could. I'll tell you what, if I find out why it's not playing, and if I can get it to actually play, then I will play it for you guys tomorrow so that we can have it. But yeah, I walked around this whole thing seeing what was up with the weeds there, with the bushes there. I'm surprised they don't cut this stuff down so that you can get a better look. But I'm sure that they leave some of it there just to keep the people from trying to walk off the edge. But you can tell the weathering that it has fallen down. Going there, I had a feeling that these things might have had stone or something underneath them, but I guess they don't. I guess they're just pure earthen. And even Cahokia, they were saying that they had to build these things back up every year. You know, just kind of fill some dirt back into them because they slowly have been eroding over time. That they do fall apart. So they do get built back up. They do get fixed every now and then in order to keep them from, you know, completely eroding away. So they're not stone. Maybe. I don't know. But it's, you know, again, big, huge, flat area. And these things would have been smoothed down on the sides, you know, straight down on the sides. They wouldn't have just, like, kind of put a bunch of dirt on a, you know, put a bunch of dirt filled all the way to the... They wouldn't have made it all the way to the top. There you go. That's what I was looking for. Made it all the way to the top, and then they would have, you know, wouldn't have just left the sides look like crap. They smoothed down the sides of these things. That's what they say. They smoothed down the sides of these things so they looked like a pyramid. They looked, you know, like a smooth pyramid on the sides of them. And supposedly these things had steps. I don't know. So you can kind of see it down there. Oh, go away, photo paint shop. I don't want your crap. You can kind of see it where let me go back a little bit. Where Angie is down there. There's the second platform. I'm on the top platform. That's the second platform, and then the ground is just below that. So you have this like dual step that you can go down to, and you can kind of see how big that lower step is. So that would have been the Temple Mound way out there. According to what they say, you wouldn't have been able to see the Temple Mound because there would have been a fence. I don't know if it's true or not, but according to what they say, oh look, I got a map. So that was checking directions right there. So that would have been north. Again, I wish I could hear this. I will check it whenever I get done and I will play the whole thing because I think this is the longest video I made. It was 6 full minutes because we had the whole thing open. When we were up on Cahokia, there were people there, and I couldn't just pop out a video and just start, talking about stuff. It was a pretty neat place. It was definitely different. So I think I got some more here. So this is coming away from it. You turn around, and I took this picture because I said, man, that looks like a sphinx. You can kind of see it. There's the back. This is the big mound. There's the back. That would be the feet, and then that would be the head. Now remember, we walked up the side here. This is where the grass was mowed on this side. That looks like a sphinx. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. It's just what it looks like. So I just thought it was really interesting. Again, Cahokia kind of has that same shape. There's another one that we saw that has a similar shape. Maybe, maybe not. Step pyramid? Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. No problem. Step pyramid. But it's just what it looks like. I'm just pointing it out. I'm not saying it is what it is. I just find it interesting that is what you see when you look back at it. So then that would have been the Temple Mount way back there. We didn't go back there. Like I said, here's just another little thing I was filming. You can see it from the side. This is when my camera started overheating. I don't know how much of this what I was actually saying, but I was taking so much video and it was so hot that my camera started overheating. We found this tree for shade, and we were just kind of sitting here. And I think we were finding feathers. They told us not to pick up any of the feathers. Angie said they look like turkey feathers. I was like, okay, fine, turkey feathers. But you can see it again, and I'm just kind of Temple Mount back there. Feathers. I don't know what kind of feather it is. There's a mount back there. That was the other big one that they were talking about. They didn't say what these are for. They just said, oh, they're mounds. Oh, nice map area. And right before we left, I took a really blurry image of the sun symbolism. You see this a lot. It's a sun with a cross, and it's not a straight cross. It's this kind of curved cross to it. Make of that what you will. I've got my own theories and opinions on it. I just find it interesting that, again, it's sun worship. It's the same old stuff you see over and over again, but it's in the shape of a cross. And I don't know what exactly that is symbolic of. I'm sure other people do know, but you see this everywhere. This sun god motif with the cross in the middle of it. I don't know. There's something more to it. And again, it's always, a twisted cross. Similar to a spiral, similar to a swastika, similar to, just about everything else that you've seen. So could be something. Could be, we've kind of talked about when you look at the North Sky, the North Star, when you look at the North Star and when you see like the Big Dipper, when it moves around in the sky around the North Star, it does that thing where it, takes the shape of a swastika, because it's the two stars on the bottom of the cup of the dipper point to the North Star, and end is sticking out. So whenever it turns in the sky, it has that symbolism to it. So if these people had different constellations, if these people just considered the two stars that came off of the end of the Dipper, if you did that 4 times in the sky, you would have a cross. Maybe there's some secret there. Maybe there's some big secret here that we're finding out. But that's part of my theory. Is the North Star doesn't move. These people had far more understanding of astrology than we will ever give them credit for. But maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's part of that, the North Star doesn't move. It makes a cross, 4 times out of the year. These people would have known, what 4 times, the 2 days that last, exactly the same, or the equinoxes. They would have known the 2 days where the day is longest and the day is shortest, which is the solstices. They would have known these things, the 4 days of the year, where they would know that everything kind of resets. They would have understood that, and they would have understood that the North Star and the constellations around it are at different places during the nights and during the time that those days come. Plus they worship the sun, so you have this conjunction of everything happening there. That's my thought on it, though. And it's turned the way it is because they move, because they spin in the sky. Could be other things. Could be some kind of flat earth imagery. I don't know. I just thought it was really weird. I just thought it was interesting. I kind of stopped and I pointed it out to Angie, and she was like, yep, you're right. There's something going on there. And again, I'm sure that there are other people that will probably say, oh, this is this is that, yada, yada, yada. But that's just what I found. So, anyways, that was day 1. That was what we did on the first day. That was the Angel Mounds. It was a good warm-up for us to be able to, go out and see what a small mound village looks like. And again, it was so hot. We were so miserable. It was just I think it got up to 90 degrees, and we're out there, and it was just like baking sun. It was just hot. That was the only sun we ever got, the only good sun we ever really got the whole weekend, because, we got in Illinois and it just rained. It just constantly rained. But that was the first day. That was what we got to see the first day, and it was a good experience to kind of get us warmed up, to let us know what was in store for us. The second day, again, we went to Cahokia, and we got to go to the top of that. Cahokia is 4 times bigger than the Angel Mounds. So, we got to see a lot more. Once you really got to the top of Cahokia and you were able to look around, you were able to see miles away. It was amazing once you get to the top. I just wish it wasn't raining so that we could have seen further than we did. But Cahokia also has 4 plazas. This one only had the 1 plaza. Cahokia had 4. One of those plazas was like a double plaza. It was like double the size of one regular place. But Cahokia also had 80 mounds, is what they said. Something like 80 mounds. They said that there's possibly 120 in total. Not only that, but I was saying, because there was a twin mound on the other side of the Missouri River, that I think the whole area was way bigger than what they say. Because they say that, we'll talk about that stuff tomorrow, but they say that Cahokia was, it stopped at the river, and there was nothing on the other side, yet there's a temple over there. Or not a temple, there's a mound over there that was the size of Cahokia. And if there was a mound over there that was the size of the monk's mound, then there's more to it that we need to talk about. There's more stuff going on there that we should probably talk about. But that's for tomorrow. We'll talk about that stuff tomorrow. I'll try to get I'll try to get up earlier tomorrow so that I'm not, because we got a lot more pictures of Cahokia and the Piasaw bird and the emerald mounds. And was that all we did? It's Cahokia and the emerald mounds and the Piasaw bird. I think that was it. Yeah, because we drove an hour out of the way to get to the emerald mounds, and it was nothing. It was nothing at all. It was just two bumps in a bean field. That's all it was. So, but yeah, we'll do that. I will find out if it was picking up the audio of that video. It sucks that I can't see it. I don't know why it's like that. But I will try to see what's going on with that, and if it did pick up, then I will play that video tomorrow. I will burn 6 minutes of my time tomorrow so you guys can hear that. I'll figure out what's going on with this. I should have probably figured out how to do this before, but of course, it is what it is. Display. Does it say anything about here? No, it doesn't. It just says, all right, whatever. Thank you guys for coming around and listening to me babble on about this. Hopefully you guys got to learn something interesting. Hopefully I got your mind thinking. The official story that we get could very well be what it is. They could have just made the mound just for a guy, whatever. They could have just lived there. There could have been invading forces coming from some place that they had to build a 16-foot wall. It could have very well been the way that they say. The one thing we know is that not only did the archaeologists not know anything about these people, barely knew anything about these people, but they were so far removed from us, and there has been a push to change our history within the past 70, 80 years, that what they said then may not be what they're saying now. So we don't know 100% for sure what did or didn't happen out there. And we do know they lied to us. So you have to believe what you want to believe. Take it with whatever grain of salt you want to. But until you really get out there and see it for yourself, like we did, you can only take the word of other people. And it doesn't do it any justice whatsoever to hear somebody else talk about it. You have to go out there for yourself. You have to experience it for yourself. And when you see it with your own eyes and you understand what they are trying to tell you, when they say, oh, it took them X amount of time over, X amount of people, X amount of days to do this, and you look at a picture and you're just like, oh, okay, I could get that. That makes sense. But when you go out to the actual place and you look at it and they say, it took X amount of people, X amount of whatever to do this, and you're like, are you for real? These people were so enamored with one person that they decided they wanted to build a monument to this person so tall that it wouldn't be finished in their lifetime or their children's lifetime or their grandchildren's lifetime. That they were willing to put off everything else that they were going to do in their entire lives. The hunting, the gathering, the raising of the families, everything, your entire life, you're willing to put all of that off to the side so that you can go haul dirt for your entire life. Some of the people in the middle, you know, you got to think the people that were in the front of it, the people that were, you know, they were just like, hey, man, why don't we build a mound? They're like, yeah, sure, you know. And they were old men by the time, you know, they were old men, they died. And there were people still building it. But you have to remember, there was a generation in between that was born knowing, oh, we gotta keep building the mound. That's what we do. It is known. It is known. You build the mound. It is known. That's what you do. You build the mound. We gotta keep building the mound until somebody tells us to stop. And when they tell us to stop, then we got to build this person a house. And that's where he's going to live. And he's going to rule over us. Because that's just the way. This is the way. This is the way it's got to be. This is the way that we were told we're supposed to do it. To hear somebody say it, to have somebody show you a picture of it's one thing. To be out there, stand on top of this thing and be like, really? Somebody told you to build this for somebody else? I could be wrong. I could always be wrong. I could have the worst theories in the world, and I could always be wrong. But to me, it just didn't seem right. So I don't know. I will see you guys tomorrow. God bless all of you. Take care of yourselves. I have to go to work. I used a full hour and a half. That was day one, though. Like I said, we will get into day two. I don't think I got a lot more pictures, but I got more pictures. We did not get to do the Cahokia Interpretive Center, which sucked, but it is what it is. So there's enough, though, I think. The pie saw bird was pretty amazing. Just wait till you guys see that. All right. So I shall see y'all tomorrow. We will pick it up from there. So take care of yourselves.